Danny, I'm about to do my show. I'm sorry I can't talk right now.
Okay.
Bye. I turned it off. What the hell happened?
Hey everyone, welcome again to our Priestess View. As always, we are so grateful to have you with us. I'm Goddess Rhonda, and of course, we have with us our beautiful Goddess Star.
Hi, everyone. Merry meet. So happy to have everyone here tonight. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
And as always, before we begin, we like to cast a circle of protection around us. All hail, our lords and ladies of the East, my brothers and sisters. My brother and patron, the sacred element of air, namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee, my lords and ladies. I charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you, and so it is.
All hail, our lords and ladies of the South, my brothers and sisters, my brother and patron, the sacred element of fire. Namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. I charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you. So it is.
So it is. All hail, our lords and ladies of the West, my brothers and sisters. My sister and patron, the sacred element of water, namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee, my lords and ladies. I charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you, and so it is.
So it is. All hail, our lords and ladies of the North, my brothers and sisters, my sister and patron, the sacred element of earth. Namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. I charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you. So it is.
So it is. And we now bring down the divine white light from the sacred source of all well being and fill our spaces with peace and protection always. So it is. Welcome
So
back
it
once
is.
again, everyone. Tonight we are talking about being sexy at any age. And Goddess Star and I were talking about it. You know, there's a lot of us that we're getting older and maybe we're not feeling so sexy anymore and we're kind of walking around because we don't feel like we still have it anymore, which you still do. So we want to bring that back out, hence our sexy Sage and Crone show. So we have a lot of different topics. This will probably be, I have to tell you, a two-part show
Yeah.
because we realized after we got everything together how much information we have. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over, some categories, some tips and tricks, but also we are going to have two big spells as a part of the show. And then whatever we don't get to finish, we will incorporate into another show, a part two. But for us, it's more important for you to have real working entire spells to work with to help to get your sexy back. So why are we doing the show? Star and I were thinking about why do we need to do the show. So Goddess
Yeah.
Star, go ahead and tell us
Uh,
why we're doing the show, and I'll chime in with you as you go along.
okay. Well, it's something that when you asked me about it, I said, you know what? I know a lot of as we call them, cronies and whatever it is, and not just in older actually women and men, but younger women and men. So that's why we kind of said, yes, it's a show for crone and sage, but it could be for any adult at any age. So a lot of what we're saying and doing can be held for everyone in general. The tips, the tricks, the spells, all of it. But the show itself, honestly, even just speaking to just a gentleman I ran across on the bus, and he was talking about men having menopause and that they go through their different things, and they don't feel a certain way, and they've been with their husband or their wife for so long, and they don't feel
Right.
that sexuality anymore. So, we kind of started saying, there are ways and there are things, and then when they hear my age or whatever and the way I'm dressed or whatever it is, they're always surprised because I guess I don't dress as they presume a person of my age to be. Because again, I've always felt that when someone says a person is supposed to act a certain age or whatever, I'm like, well, how would you know? I've never been there before until now. And this is the
Right.
way I see it. This is the way I feel it. Who are you to tell me how to act that certain way? The only thing I would say other than say grow up, maybe, you can say to someone, grow up, you're acting like a child, maybe, but to say to someone that if they're 55 or they're 60 or whatever, you have to act the age of what that's supposed to be. That's their presumption of what they believe that age is supposed to be and act, and I guess kind of not relate to life the way that a younger person would. But we do. We have all those feelings, those thoughts, those ideas, and it doesn't end at a certain age just because you get older. It just means that we learn to accept ourselves in that age and who we are for who we are. So that's kind of my idea of the reasoning, or at least some of the ideas of why we are doing this particular show. What about you, Goddess Rhonda?
Well, I actually have a whole list, but you know how it is when you say something and then I think of something about what
I
you
know.
said. So I have to do that. And if I have to, I'll save my whole list for part two. But just
Okay.
like you said about something, it just struck something within me. And I'm going to talk more about the media later. But, I think also as we get older, we start to feel invisible
Right.
because all of the ads are showing young women and young men, in their 20s or their 30s. The only advertisements that they give to us is, for like Ben Gay or arthritis, or if your back's hurting, you can get this thing to put on your lower back. They don't talk to us like we're sexy beings. They talk to us like, well, your body's failing, so you need this pill, or you need this gel to rub on, or you need to take this pill because your cholesterol is too high. If you look at most of the commercials for medications, it's older people. And that's what we get looked at, is just old and broken down. Whereas the other commercials, unless, there are like maybe one or two commercials with older women. There's an actress, I can't think of her name now, but she's been around forever. And she does, I think, a L'Oreal commercial. And I love her commercials because I know she's at least in her mid 60s. I just can't think of what her
Oh,
name is right now. She used to
Lauren
star.
Hutton? Was that Lauren Hutton?
No, she used to star in a lot of the Woody Allen movies. I think
You
they
don't
were
mean
even
you don't mean
married
Diane
once.
Keaton?
What did you say?
Diane Keaton?
Yes, Diane Keaton. She
And
does.
doesn't she looks awesome? She looks awesome.
She does. She looks fabulous. But she's the only one, I think, of her age category that they allowed to do makeup and those kinds of commercials. Everyone else in those commercials, I would say, are at least maybe at the
Yeah.
most 40 or under. And so
Right.
I think we get used to, we're looked at badly as the media shows us, and we're basically invisible.
Right,
And I
right,
think that makes people feel badly as well.
right. Actually, as you mentioned that, the only other woman I know of that did do anything over 40 was Halle Berry, because they had her, Revlon, I think it was, that had her signed up for so long to
Yeah.
do so many things. You know, they pick and choose who they see or envision that the public would want to see at that age. They
Wow.
don't feel threatened, because another great woman that shows really well as she got older, two people actually. Jamie Lee Curtis is wonderful at even at her older age, and so is Sharon Stone. They look wonderful, as older
Oh,
women, but
yeah.
they do not get portrayed and put out there. Diane Carroll, all these people, Tina Turner, they don't get put out there. And that's kind of sad. But it's kind of the same thing with books that we read about. If you read about a romance book, it's all about the new adult, or the adults. Everybody's under 40 that's having a romance. Then nobody over 40 is having a romance, because of course they are invisible. They don't exist anymore for romance or anything at all. I
Hmm.
guess we should be settled and so forth by that age, which a lot of people are not.
I agree. I agree. And also, Jamie Lee Curtis, even the commercials that they let her do, even though she looks fabulous, she does yogurt commercials, because for people who have irregularity with going to the bathroom. That's what I mean. Why can't she do a sexy commercial? Why is she talking about, well, you're getting older, so you need to eat yogurt because you can't go to the bathroom anymore, right?
Right.
Why we are literally ignored. And I think that has a lot to do with feeling badly
Mm,
about yourself as you get older, is that you're
right.
just not even acknowledged by the media hardly anymore.
Right. They don't. Or if they do, like you just said, they put them in a different light. I mean, I was watching in the SSI office. If you walk in there, there's a commercial in SSI office, and the commercial is with the stars of Star Trek. Remember, I forgot her name, the black woman who played uh,
Uhura, she played Uhura,
Right,
but I can't think of what her real
Uhura,
name is.
the Chinese gentleman, and all of them, and they're there. They have them as the older SSI people, as if they don't exist for anything else. They're only older.
Wow.
They only, and I was just like shocked because the older Chinese man looks very handsome still.
Mhm.
Ahura looks hot. She looks amazing. But look at where they have her. You know, it's such a shame. You know, and even with what's his name, Captain Kirk, um, uh, they slowly kind of phasing him out from Priceline and different things, and
Right.
a younger person has moved in, and I don't know. It's just he's still there, but he's kind of like the sideline.
Yeah. It's true. They really cut down his exposure on that, but that's the way the media does it, and that's the way they make you feel. They make us feel like we are absolutely invisible, and that is why it hurts us, and we start to not feel as sexy anymore. It's
Right,
very important. And another reason that we're doing the show is because sexiness is an attitude. It's an attitude, but more importantly, spiritually, as witches, as metaphysicians, we need confidence and energy in order to manifest what we're trying to do. Those are just two components, but very important components. You must have confidence in yourself, your abilities, your power, whenever you're trying to do manifestation work. And we also need energy. And
right,
sexual energy is a powerhouse of energy that you can use to manifest anything that you want, to help bring your good health back. There's a lot of things that we can use that energy for. And so by keeping your sexual energy levels up, you can
right,
incorporate that into the magic that you do, combined with your confidence. And that's going to make your work even stronger when you're trying to manifest and do your spell work and all. So
right,
having confidence, getting that sexual energy up so you can put it into your magic, or just, put it out there, because your sexual energy is also a beacon to attract, you know, potential mates to you. It's important to rev that back up again. And so we are here to try to help you do that today.
yeah, absolutely.
Got to start before we start to get into the breakdown more. Is there any other reasons? And again, I'm asking God to star this because we have all this information and we're trying to get a certain amount of it into one show. So
Yeah.
before we move on to that, is there any other reason or anything else you want to bring up to?
Not that I can think of other than what we are. I know we have a few things that we want to kind of go down, or break it down with. Um, but outside of that, right now, I can't think of anything else. If I do later on, I'll kind of interject it in certain places as best as I could.
Okay. So then let's go ahead then, and let's go ahead and move on. We're going to start to break down reasons why we have lost our the time we used to take to make ourselves look sexy and beautiful like we did when we were younger.
Yeah.
Now life has happened and we no longer have that availability of time. Time is one of our reasons. And We are so busy nowadays that it's hard to even try to find the time to take better care of us. But what it really boils down to is, what is getting your sexiness back worth to you? Is it worth getting up an extra 15 minutes early so that you can meditate or work out or do something to help to make yourself feel better for yourself? You could
Yeah.
get up 15 minutes early every day and just alternate. You don't have to do the same thing every day, but you can alternate. Maybe one day do meditation on your beauty and your sexiness. The next day
Right.
you can do intention work. The next day you can maybe do a 15-minute workout, something that you can do, but you can find 15, 20 minutes a day to help yourself. You just have to make the conscious effort and ask yourself again, what is it worth to me to look good, feel good, get my energy up, get my power up, and be that powerful manifester that I know that I am? What is it worth to me? And then
Yeah.
suddenly you'll start to think of ways that you can do it. What do you think about that, Goddess Star?
I think actually you kind of covered a lot of great things that you mentioned there with that. But like you said, no matter what, I don't care what it is, I have to find time for myself, even if it's 15, 20 minutes that I either smell right or look right the way I want to leave. I'm not leaving out of my doorway
Mhm.
without looking a certain way that I want to present to the world. And a lot of times, as people get older, they will leave maybe haphazardly, or the makeup is not the way that they used to want to do for themselves, or their mode of dress is very careless, and some go really kind of risque, and some just kind of haphazardly, or whatever. It's like they've lost touch with what's right for them. They see
Mhm.
everything else out there and they kind of go, okay, I want to dress like that person. Don't dress like me, don't act like me, act like yourself, act like who that person was when you were younger. It doesn't change. And you shouldn't see yourself differently. You should still want to be able to leave the house presenting yourself as the best possible you, smelling the way you want to smell nicely, whatever little makeup. Take that time, 15, 20 minutes. Create that time for yourself, because if you leave, honestly speaking, without being your best foot forward, you are not going to honestly like how you feel.
Mhm.
We only feel as good as we look. I'll tell you that. That's the truth. I know friends of mine that my friend Kathleen, beautiful woman, and the minute that she did her hair, she said she felt 1,000 times better. The littlest thing, just taking the time to get your hair done at the hairdressers, although it's kind of expensive these days to just even do that. But you know what I mean? Just doing those simple things, and she feels and acts 1,000 times better than what she was the day before or a week before. So time is a very precious thing to us. Just like when we were younger, we have to see it as that. And you shouldn't change. You should not change and under worth yourself, if that makes sense. It's kind of devaluing who you are as that same person.
Right.
And I refuse to do that with myself. So I in whatever condition I am, I'm leaving the house in as best as looking as possible.
Mhm. I can dig it. I can. I think you're absolutely right. You really do need to take the time, even if you can if you have to get your clothes and everything set out the night before, so you have that extra 5 minutes
Yeah.
to do something different with your hair, or maybe try to change your makeup, or just do something different. You can do that too. Lay out your clothes at night so that everything is ready, so you have that extra time that you would have taken to get that together.
Right.
Another message, another issue that we have is feeling overwhelmed. We have so many things on our plates that it's like, oh my God, I'm just so overwhelmed and I'm just so tired. And how am I supposed to get all this done? Well, I do know that we do get overwhelmed by life. We've got to work and we've got to take care of our family. We got to take care of ourselves. We got to clean the house. We got to cook dinner. We got to grocery shop. There's a million things that we have to multitask and get done. But I honestly believe, and I started to hint about this before, that we are really overwhelmed by the negative messages that we get in the media. You
Yeah.
know, I believe that the media tries to make us, convince us that we're not good enough, our hair is too gray, our eyelashes aren't long enough, we have wrinkles, we have stretch marks, we weigh too much. And after seeing and hearing these messages over and over and over again, if you go and watch TV, I can guarantee you, if you just watch TV for 30 minutes, there's going to be a message telling you why you're not good enough because your eyelashes don't do a certain thing, or you've got grays in your hair, or you've got wrinkles and you've got stretch marks. So you need this cream and you need this and you need this and you need this. And that message is a terrible, repetitive um, brain training by constantly putting this message to you. And they're not just telling you, they're doing the visuals and everything. They are implanting these messages of not feeling good enough right into your subconscious. And
Absolutely.
after a while, when you keep telling your subconscious the same thing over and over and over again, the subconscious accepts it as truth. And then it actually, you start to actually feel like you're not good enough, like your hair is too gray, or you've got too many wrinkles, or you've got, you know, all these other things. And I want to tell you something, you know, I'm not going to pretend that I like having, you know, gray hair. I haven't dyed my hair. I need to do it. You probably see my grays. And I'm not going to pretend that I like, you know, not having the firm skin that I had when I was 20 years old. However, I will say this, my gray hair, my wrinkles, whatever it is I have, those were hard won. I mean, I worked hard to get those. I earned them, actually. So don't look at them as like, oh my God, I'm turning gray or I'm doing this or I'm doing that. So you know what? I have been blessed with so much life experience. It might show up in my hair, it might show in wrinkles on my face, but the wisdom that I have received throughout my life has blessed me so much that that definitely takes precedence. That blessing takes precedence over the few gray hairs that you can get that you can easily wash out with a hair color.
Right.
Appreciate what you've been through because you've survived a lot. You know, think of them as badges of survival if you want to, but let them bring up your confidence in yourself. You've done so much, you've experienced so much, you have survived so much. What can't you do? You can do probably anything if you look at what you've been through and what you've accomplished. So let those gray hairs remind you of your accomplishments, of your wisdom, of all these things that you can now put into your spiritual toolkit and use it to make your life better and the life of your loved ones better and those you serve.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, you've covered so much of it, but I wanted to add to what you said about the media. It discussed about the television and all of that, but how many magazines do you buy? And every magazine has so many things as to from some of them even go into where you can get the best plastic surgeon to help you get to be younger looking and different things. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, oh, do we really waste monies on things like this? What about the way we look, just the way we are? If we take good care of ourselves the way we used to take care of ourselves when we were younger, we should be just fine the way we are and have
Mhm.
all of that grow in line with us of who we are as part of our new character. Um, and it should not be considered something as a negative. But people and everyone around you do make you feel overwhelmed. Even people on your daily in your daily lives. Many of them you may hear of a party or something like that that they did not invite you to because they thought you would not fit in,
Mhm.
or they thought that you might be too tired or whatever it is. So it's for a younger people or younger group of people. You can
Mhm.
decide for yourself, but they've already made the decision for you. Uh,
Right.
and that's kind of sad, you know? So it's kind of sad to see that happens. Um, but it is what it is. And we will just have to kind of go with it for what it is, and learn to not let ourselves be overwhelmed by everyone else and all the things that are going on around us, and learn to, in a way, I call it kind of stressing, where you get so overwhelmed it stresses you. And stress is a big disease carrier. It
Yeah.
is the cause of so many diseases. So to have people or anything around you overwhelm you to such a degree where you are stressed out, very unhealthy.
Hmm.
Um, they have actually said they've connected stress to not just cancer, but they've actually connected stress to HCDT, uh, autoimmune diseases. A huge amount of autoimmune diseases, including lupus, they have said they have related it to stress. And that's really sad that people around you, rather than supporting you so that you're not as stressed out, um, just bring a lot of things to you, because in a way you've become that dependable person that
Hmm.
everyone turns to such a degree that they overwhelm you, and in a way they don't care, because they feel like, well, I don't think I should have to do it, you should be doing that kind of a thing. And that's really sad. It's what happens a lot, and I hate to see that going on. And I've had to basically say, to people recently, where I said, I my exact words are, and I have done it bit by bit because it was very hurtful and painful to do. I basically said, this is my health, my body. And if you are going to stress me out to such a degree that you will make me get unhealthy, make me get ill, then any one of you, family, friends, if you're really my family and friends, if you're to such a degree, I'm sorry, if you stress my ass out, you gotta go. I don't need that kind of friendship in my life. I don't need that kind of family in my life. And I've had to let go some people who are, they're just negative and destructive and things like that. And that's very overwhelming.
Hmm.
If you're not there to support each other spiritually, mentally, physically, all of it, as friends, as family, as spiritual people together as a community, if you're not there to support one another, other than to stress people out and say what I'm doing or whatever the itises that are going on. Itises, I meant like the high priest itises and all the things. I'm back to that again. But you know what I mean. And it's just, don't allow people to do this to you. Don't allow them. And that happens at any age. I've met people in their 30s and their 20s that are so stressed out and overwhelmed. It
Hmm.
causes a lot of diseases, and it could start as young as 5 years old. There are a lot of kids that have autoimmune diseases. Who knows what kind of stresses were placed on them? So it could be at any age. So you have to learn at some point to say, I'm sorry, but I'm refusing to become overwhelmed. I'm going to take things one step at a time. So that's
Right.
my take on it.
I agree 100%. You're absolutely correct. Getting rid of those stressors that are causing the issues and the gray hairs in the first place
Yeah,
is,
yeah. And it
something that's important to do.
Yeah, yeah. And it kind of goes into our next one that we were going to talk about, which is our health issues,
Right.
because all of that goes right into that. And stress is a huge factor and cause of a lot of it. So, and health is also one of the reasons why a lot of people, as they get older, feel like there's no sexuality there. Why? I'm in pain all the time, like myself with the lupus, or I'm in either I'm in pain, or I don't feel as well as I should be, or some people are bedridden, different things that they're going through. And if you can just take them some flowers, do something, just show up and say, how are you doing? What can I do for you today? Anything at all, it helps put them in a better disposition. Can I put on some makeup on your face? Can I, help you get cleaned up or something? So then you can put on some makeup on your face. I've had friends that came and did that, not exactly those things, but help when I got out of the hospitals, that came to me and said, I'm here to help. What can I do?
Hmm.
That's a great supportive friend those are, or came to the hospital and sees you and visits, all that time and make you feel like you're a human being again. That's all part of it. So health issues are I think one of the major factors with people feeling like they don't have that sex appeal or sexuality anymore. I think that's one of the biggest things that make people feel that way at any age, whether they're getting older or not. So what do you?
Right. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And as you get older, the aches and pains, they start settling in. We've got arthritis now, our joints
Yeah,
aren't what they used to be. We're not as flexible
yeah,
as we used to be. We don't have that energy anymore. But even still, even if your bones are hurting and you feel like you can't do as much as you used to, there are still things that you can do to try to help yourself. And one of them is and I have these links, and I'm going to put them in the chat room, and then I will remember also to put them on our website, are couch potato exercises I found on YouTube.
oh my goodness, that's awesome.
And I just took the link that lists all of them that they have there. So you can just go there and click on that link. And what they are their actual exercises that you can do while you're sitting in a chair, sitting on a couch, watching TV. They are very gentle. They're not going to hurt you. I'm sure some are gentler than others. You're going to have to decide what your fitness level is for the ones that you can do. But even if that seems a little too overwhelming, I personally, and I hate to say this because I guess we get karma from when we were younger, although I don't really want to say it's karma, but I was telling my sister this just the other day. I was telling her about the show we're going to do, and I was saying when I was in my 20s, I went to an exercise class. I don't remember who was doing it or why, but I know there was a group of us women. We got together to exercise, and there were older women there as well. I say older, I mean women that are my age now. And I remember one of the women saying to me, "You are so flexible and limber. I wish I was like that." And I was just like, "Oh yeah." I took my body totally for granted. Now I'm like, what happened to the Rondi that was limber and flexible? Where'd she go? I need her to come back to me somehow. And when you're in pain, the last thing you feel like doing is exercising. It's like, what are you kidding me? I'm already hurt. Now you're going to make me do more stuff? Well,
Yeah.
for us to get our flexibility back, and I'm going to do this too, and I'll tell you how it works. I'm going to put it in the chat room also. And if you see me typing, I'm not being rude. I'm also navigating our chat room. We have yoga, gentle yoga for beginners and seniors that you can do sitting on your couch. Um, their names are, and you can sit there and gently learn how to reestablish your flexibility by just doing these gentle yoga exercises, at your convenience. Once you
Right.
start to get, that flexibility back, when you're more flexible, your arthritis doesn't hurt as badly. You can move feet a little bit better. You feel better. And it will actually enable you to eventually get your exercise stamina back up so that you can do those more challenging exercises. But I think if you at least just feel more flexible and more limber, just how you feel, feeling good will make you want to feel even better. You'll want to do more.
Right. Right. As a matter of fact, along with what you said, one of the things I started doing because of my lupus and all the different joint pains that I have from osteoarthritis, I started, I created oil, an herb mixture, what I call chronic pain. And you can create your own mixture. I sell it on my website at charmbystar.com. Kind of a little plug there.
Give
But
yourself a plug, mommy.
right. And it's for chronic pain, but you can create something yourself. Use a coconut oil base and look up and research what essential oils and herbs that are for pain. and create your own combination of things that would help you as you massage your own body daily with pain. Anything to help relieve the pain without using a bunch of the different drugs that they gave you, because between my lupus and my osteoarthritis, I am in constant pain. But I think I take only three different pain medications, and the rest are all vitamins and omega-3s, and the rest is my essential oil and herb mixture that I make. And they're quite surprised that I can walk around with certain things because of it. So, you can create some things for yourself naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that way you'd be able to feel better. And I'm telling you, that daily massage on my, even though I would much prefer to have someone else do the massage on my body because it feels better that way.
Always.
I do daily massage my leg every day with that oil, and it feels heavenly when I'm done. Like, it's a good 10-15 minutes per leg, and it feels awesome. My pain is lessened. I feel better. I take my medications less,
Mm-hmm.
all of that because of it. So I think you can help yourself more than you think. I'm not saying, you know, ignore your doctor's advice or anything. I'm just saying these are some of the natural things that we can do for our own bodies. And again, your own advice as to what you want to do. Check with your doctor for everything. I check with my doctor with everything so much that, to the point where she just kind of says, "Oh, you have your mixture for this, just use that instead." She just knows me now, and she knows my recipes, and she sees that they work. So I'm grateful for my doctor, the way that she is, and able to work with me as an individual rather than as a general person and say, then take only this medication. So I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that. And if you can create around you the kind of people that, for your particular health issues, that are willing to listen and work with you in a natural way as best as possible, even more power to you. Because the body, I've seen too many friends of mine take so many different drugs for so many different things that their body is confused and shutting down. And that's kind of sad, because a lot of them are way younger than I am. And it's sad to see this, and I want to see them live. I want to see them healthy. So my advice to people is, along with, find the right doctors that could work with you holistically in a manner that is better for your body and not just generalize you. That's one of the main things I think that helps. But health issues being what it is, and again, health issues can happen at any age.
Mm-hmm.
So learn to work with that and realize that you can't be entirely a person that's just medicated from inside and out, and not realize that there's not going to be some results that are going to be more damaging for the body. So you have to be consciously aware, be smart about it, and intelligent about how you deal with your body, um, inside and out, whether it's exercising or whatever. And I think it was very great that Goddess Rhonda went to find exercises that you can do sitting on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Exercises you can There are exercises you can do while lying down on the bed. You
Mm-hmm.
can
Right.
do you can do slight crunches, and I don't mean the full crunches that you do. That is not as good for your body as you think. The main crunches are simple crunches where you can actually feel it in the core. There are simple things to do. You can do leg raises, full leg raises, laying on your bed. There are many things that you can do that, and I'm discovering more of these things because of the fact that I have to do that for my rehabilitation. And I'm realizing there's so much I could do on my bed. So you can do many things when it comes to your health. And so you can feel better. I know I'm beginning to feel better, just doing some of it myself. So it can be done for many of you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Welcome everyone in our chat room. And for those of you who want to get into our chat room, because we're posting links and stuff in there, if you go right under the description of the show, you'll see it says chat room link, and you should be either click. You should be able to click on it or copy and paste it into your browser, and then you can join us also in our chat room. And you'll see me, typing from time to time to acknowledge people that are in our chat room. But anyway, getting back to what we were saying, and I want to just, before we move on to the next thing, I want to acknowledge what you said about finding people who have the same medical issues as you, because they could have tips and things that you don't know of. And back in
Yeah.
92, when I lived in New York, that's where I'm from, I was bitten by a deer tick, and I did not get diagnosed with Lyme disease for 2 whole years. And by the time they figured out what was wrong with me, actually, I had to figure it out, and they confirmed it. Um, I was already in late stage, meaning that the Lyme bacteria had already penetrated the blood-brain barrier, and it literally attacked my brain.
Wow.
And I was out of work for 2 whole years. I did the whole 30-day Recephin therapy and everything else. And the antibiotics that they give you make it worse. It's called the Harris-Choudhry reaction, because Lyme disease is a smart disease, and it fights back and it tries to hide. So as the medications are going through you, it gives you tremendous pain, and your symptoms are exacerbated. Well, I finally went to a Lyme disease support group that was out in Riverhead. And there was a man there, and he was in his 80s, and he was a biochemist. And he said, "This is what I want you to do." And he gave me this list of mega vitamins to take. I was taking like 24,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day. I was taking major amounts of vitamins. And I told my doctor about it. She's like, "Oh, you're going to get vitaminosis. You know, if you want to take a multivitamin, that's okay. But all these other herbs and things that you're taking, it's blah, 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 blah." And I was like, "Look, you had your chance. I've taken everything that you've given me to take. I've done what you've told me to do. I'm still in bad shape. I'm still not working. I'm going to give this guy a chance." Because at that point, if he had said to me, "You know what, Rhonda, to get better, you need to wrestle an alligator under the full moon on a Thursday night at midnight in the middle of Manhattan, you'll get better," I would have done it. I would have said, "Okay, where's the alligator? I'm desperate. I'll give it a shot. It can't be worse than this." So I went ahead and listened to what he said, and I was back to work in 4 months of that
There
thing,
you
after
go.
being out of work for 2 whole years.
Rock on.
Back to
Yes.
work and fully functional within 4 months. So,
Excellent.
don't necessarily listen to all the warnings of the doctors. I mean, by all means, talk to them about it, but do your own research as well, because doctors are not always skilled in what herbs and things, what they can do for you, because they don't really teach that in medical school. So get a book on herbology. There's a really good one that I have relied on forever since I was a teenager, called Back to Eden by Jethro
That's
Kloss.
my favorite. That's my favorite. I grew up with that book.
Oh, so did I. I grew up with that book. My mother was an herbologist. She used herbs for everything. And
Yeah.
that book tells you, medications you shouldn't take with it, different diseases that you shouldn't take this herb if you have this condition. It really is it's probably the most responsible herbology book that is out
Right.
there, because
Ever
they
written.
warn
Yes.
you, don't do this for this, don't do this for this. And then again, always talk to your doctor about it anyway, but still go also with your own research, remembering that their amount of training in herbal medications and vitamin therapy is probably
Nil.
less than what you have even now. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I can vouch for that. And I also want to vouch for the coconut oil that you mentioned, because a couple of years ago, I got shingles on my face, for God's sake. I mean, I was a mess, and it took months to get rid of those bumps and the scars. Well, this last year I got it again, but on my leg. And this time I put coconut oil on it, because coconut oil is antibacterial, antifungal, it's antibiotic,
Antiviral, everything.
antimicrobial,
Yep.
it's everything. And within 2 days, those shingles blisters were gone.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
usually takes months to get rid of them. Now you keep applying it. If you don't keep applying it, I applied it, I think, for about 2 weeks, and then it finally went away forever. After the 2 days it went away, I was like, "Oh, that was great," but then it started to come back. So you do have to do it a couple of times. But still, coconut oil, if you can have nothing else in your house, you need a jar of coconut oil.
No, girl, I'm out. I'm looking for it. I have to go buy some more.
Yeah. I just get it when I go to Trader Joe's. They've got the organic,
Yeah.
unrefined coconut oil for like $6. It's an excellent
Don't say
deal.
anything. It's like it's always off the shelf. Oh
It
my
really
goodness. Oh,
is.
every time I go, it's off the shelf. Gone.
It,
Every day this
it's
happens.
well because it's so good. That's why.
Every day it's gone. I'm like, what do you mean it's gone? They said, well, you have to come at 8 o'clock in the morning to get it. I was like, what?
Yeah,
It's
really.
really
That's
bad.
not going to happen.
I have
Being
to
there at 8 o'clock
admit.
in the
Yeah.
morning is not going to happen.
Yes, exactly. But I have to admit,
That's just
that's
not
why
going
I'm like,
to happen.
don't tell them Trader Joe's. I want to find it on the shelf.
Oh, you know what? I just remembered. Don't go to Trader Joe's until after Goddess Star says, I got my
Yes,
coconut oil. Now you
make
can.
sure I have mine. Or pick up one for me and say,
Or
I'm
at least
holding
pick
one for
her
you,
up one
goddess.
and send it to her, please. By all means, she really needs her coconut
Yes.
oil.
Oh, I'm like, yeah. So, but yes, all of those things work. And please do your research. And Goddess Rhonda is right. I grew up with that book, the Back to Eden book, and it's written by the Jethro family. And
Yeah.
they are so well researched and so intelligently done and responsibly. And it's an amazing, and the book is really, and they keep updating it. The family keeps updating it
Yes,
and
they
making sure
do.
that it's updated us to the newest things. And it really is an amazing book, and it's been passed down, I mean, through many families. It's a great book to have, a must have when it comes to your health issues for your kids and your family, everybody. All
Yes, and
right.
I found the link and I'm putting it into the chat room. Hang on for just 1 second, and there it is. So now you have the Back to Eden link. And again, please visit our chat room. You can, if you look right underneath, under the description of this broadcast, you'll see the chat room link. So by all means, go ahead and join us in our chat room. So moving on to our next reason that we can lose our sexiness is the demands of children. You know, you got to love your children. There's really not much you can do about this. They're your children, your responsibility. You have to take care of them and cart them to soccer practice and talk them to the doctor and do all these things that kids require. But that does not mean that you still can't get time for yourself. Remember when your child, for those of you who have children, when your child was a baby, so you took a nap when your kid took a nap? Well,
Yeah.
kids today, you know, the older ones are not taking naps anymore, but they play video games. They have to stop and do their homework. They're texting their friends. They're online. When your kids are occupied with other things, that's your big chance to do something for yourself. And tell them, look, you're doing your homework, you know, so while you're doing your homework for the next hour, I'm going to go ahead and do something for me. Don't disturb me. You know, of course, unless they're little kids. If they're 2 and 3 years old, the best you can do is do something when they go to bed because, you know, you can't leave them on their own. But the older kids, the teenagers, and, you know, if you're 10, 11, or 12, they're going to be playing video games or texting somebody and doing all these things. They're not even paying attention to you. So during those times when they're caught up in their own world, that's your chance to catch yourself up in your own world and do your spiritual practices or some exercises or look into ways to make yourself feel prettier or look on a meetup group. There's a lot of things that you can be doing in that time. And Goddess Spell and I, we're going to give you some spells, some, you know, really good spells to use to get yourself back on
Tips and
track, to get yourself started. But again, don't let your children be a hindrance to you doing things to make yourself feel good and look good and feel better about yourself. Yes, while you've got to cart them from here to there and do things for them and check their homework, okay, you have to do that. But there's also plenty of times when they are caught up within their own worlds. And most teenagers, they probably go in the room and shut the door anyway because they don't want you spying on them. So that's your big chance to do something. So take advantage of those moments to do things for yourself when you don't have to do things for your children.
right. Another good trick that's really quick, and you can do this on the subway, you can do this on the bus, you can do this anywhere. Do a slight meditation for yourself
Yes.
wherever you are. A slight, nice meditation. Just take yourself like Calgon. You know that Calgon commercial that says, "Take me away, Calgon." Yes, like that. But do that with meditation. I do meditations now any and everywhere. The minute I have a chance. I've even fallen asleep in the cab when you're doing a slight meditation and stuff like that, and you kind of sometimes doze off, you
Right.
know. And I did like a little power nap, and I wake up and I'm like, "Ooh, hi, I'm good." you know you catch the moment when you can. It is what it is, you know.
That's right. Like just like you said, you catch the moment when you can. That's what you can do for yourself. That's all you can do. All right. See how quickly the time is going. We're definitely going to get our spells in, so don't worry. You're not going to have to come back next week. We'll still have time to do them because they're pretty big spells. So we want to make sure you have that information, and we're just about done with this part of it. Job demands. Yes, I know that we have to work. We have to work if we're going to eat and get things that we need to get for ourselves. And it's not enough that we have all the stress in our own life. Now we're going to add on to it the demands of our job. A lot of us, we have to travel a lot, or we've got to work a lot of overtime, or we're working two jobs where we can't afford to just work the one job. And we're just so exhausted that it's like, oh my God, how am I supposed to, exercise or incorporate any of these techniques when I'm just too tired to get anything done by the time I go to work and handle my home responsibilities and my kid responsibilities. I'm just too tired. So my answer to that is your biggest job is to take care of yourself. Because if you go down, your whole ship goes down. So your job that you're getting money that you're getting paid for is actually your secondary job. It is up to you to make sure that your health is good enough so that you can get to work and carry out those jobs. And when I say your health, I mean emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, your health on all levels. And if you're feeling badly about yourself, that is going to take a toll on your emotional health, your physical health, all of it. So your primary job is to make sure that you are healthy and feeling good. Because if you don't, eventually, if you just get that tired where you're just finally at the end of your rope or you're just too exhausted because you weren't able to exercise or eat right or take care of yourself, you can get very sick and then you lose your job anyway, and then everything goes to hell with it. So don't think of, well, I can't do exercises because of my job. Your job is to take care of yourself so that you can take care of your family, pay your bills, go and cook and do all the things that you have to do and do your job. You can't do your job if you're exhausted and broken and sick. You can do your job if you're feeling strong and healthy and good about yourself. So do sort of a mental refocus about what your real job is, which is to survive, thrive, and take very good care of yourself so that the rest of your life follows. What do you think about that, Goddess Star?
Absolutely. Because a lot of job demands so much of them. And I think it's partially because they feel like, oh, there's not as many jobs, so I can work you longer for that same amount of time, pay you that one amount of money. So in a way, a lot of people that used to enjoy their jobs are now either depressed with their jobs, they're unhappy, or whatever the reasonings are around it.
Right,
And part of that is exercising. I hate to tell people this. It actually, that endorphins that it lets go into your body helps you keep you on a natural high. That makes you feel naturally healthy. People, you're always smiling. People think that, what are you on? Nothing. My natural endorphins in my body. Because you are letting that out with the exercising and everything that you're doing. So you have to really decide that number one, no matter what, that job is always going to be there. So that
right,
means you have to take care of you. You're number one at all times. And you have to see it that way. And yes, they can say, you know, no, you have to be here at whatever time and stay till whatever time or whatever it is. But you
right.
also have to let them know to respect your boundaries, your job requirement, and have them stick exactly to that job requirement so that you
Hmm.
don't overwork yourself beyond what they're paying you and you don't get depressed and go into a different time zone with yourself.
Right.
All of that, all there's a whole vicious cycle that happens, and you have to, you know, decide that you maybe some people have actually done things like decided that I'll create time and go to back to school so I can leave this job. There are
Mhm.
different things that you can decide to do. You can go and take classes online, whatever you have to do to get yourself in a different mental state to be able to deal with your job or move on to something that's better for you, puts you in a
Mhm.
better headspace. So you have to make sure that, like Goddess Rhonda said before, is how your job demands, is it worth it to you? How can I change things? How can I make it better? Think of
Right.
all kinds of ways that you can think of that will make things better for you. The whole bottom line is no matter what anybody says, you know how people would say they're so arrogant about things that you kind of say, boy, they're in their own little world. It's all about them. In a way, they're right. I'm not saying being arrogant and selfish, but I'm saying you have to decide that the world has to surround you with all the things that you're doing. So that
Mhm.
means I have to take care of me for me to be able to handle all of those things. You have to take care of you and decide, yes, it's all about me. I have to take care of me. If you
Right.
don't, then nobody else will care about taking care of you as much as you will,
Right.
unless you have a mate that cares enough that much about you. Honestly speaking, without that mate that cares that much about you to say to care enough, there's no one else.
Mhm.
Even the kids tell you they love you and all of it, but until something actually happens to you, that's when they show their love of how much, gee, I miss you, mom. I would not want to see you get hurt. They forget, they
Right.
take you for granted. It's not that they don't care, they just kind of take you for granted.
Right.
You have to don't allow all those demands or those things to take its toll on you. You have to decide, yes, part of that world surrounds me, and that means I have to make my world right.
Right.
you know so you just kind of, and as I mentioned, the mates part, we go from the job demands to the mates demanding, because some mates, that's what they do, male or female. Some of them are very demanding, to the point where I've seen people say comments like, she worked him to death, he died because he was doing too much for her, and
Mhm.
vice versa. For people to make that comment, it means that something they saw was too much. And if that's the case, you have to realize that no matter what, the only person that would love you 100% all the time, and that's you. That means that you have to decide, if I love myself that much, I cannot allow myself to love someone else more than myself. When your mate demands so much of you that you give of yourself that much, you're not, that means you're depriving yourself and giving too much of yourself to that mate. Is that the right person for you then? That they don't see that it needs to be an equalizer there, that it has to go both ways? To me, a proper mate would be someone who can see that, if you, I have to bring my husband who passed away up, because we both used to work when he was alive. But when I came home, if that's the day that I was more tired than he was, or he was home first, he made dinner, because he was like, I came home first. It didn't occur to him to wait for me, like some mates have with people, to wait for that other person to come home to make dinner for them.
Right.
He thought that I am home first and I would like to have dinner, and he'd have dinner waiting for me and the candlelight. It was amazing. It made me feel like such a queen. you know, and vice versa, like I did for him. So, and he felt wonderful when I did it for him. Well, I'm not the best cook in the world, but I do my best. But, it's just the thought and all those things. I think we mates need to appreciate one another more, and
Right.
not be too demanding of the other mate, and be more considerate of one another. The same way you would like to be treated is the same way you would treat your mate, kind of a thing. It's just a thought on that.
Yes. You're absolutely 100% correct. And if you think about what the word mate means, mate, partner, it means we are in this together. We're
Yeah.
supposed to be in this together. If
Equal.
your partner or your mate is not in this with you, then it might be time to rethink that partner or that mate, or at least talk to them about compromise.
Yeah.
and come up with ways, because a lot of and like you said, it could be a man or a woman. If they're
Yeah.
just used to you doing everything, it doesn't even occur to them to help out. But when you were 20, or if you got married or with someone when you were 20 or 25, you might have had all that energy to do all that stuff while your partner comes home and gets on the couch and plays with the remote control and is not doing anything. And that's when it's your responsibility to say, excuse me, I need some help over here. Or, you know what, honey, I really want to get healthy again. And in order for me to do that, I'm going to need to take 20 minutes a day to walk around the block or do some exercises. Can you help me out here? Can you throw a load of clothes in the wash? I'll show you how to do it if you don't know how. Or can
Right.
you just do me a favor and put the dishes in the dishwasher? That's an easy task.
Yeah.
Ask them to help you. And I'm sure, if they truly love you and they truly are your partner or your mate, they will help you. They just might not have thought of it. Or a lot of times what happens is a couple that got together when they were younger, while their bodies were awesome, and now have grown older together, sitting on the couch next to each other, eating popcorn and popping bonbons for the past 20 years. Maybe your mate could use a little turn around the block with you. Use that time as togetherness time, because a lot of times what happens with long-standing couples is life becomes about the children and not about the couple anymore. So you can use an extra 30 minutes a day to take a walk together, or to work out together, or meditate together. You can make it a joint experience of something pleasurable for both of you, so that you're really are partners in good health and in
Right.
feeling good and in helping each other. So, have a talk with your partner about that, and invite them to engage with you. Let's meditate for just 20 minutes. Or if they don't want to meditate, okay, say your job is for the next 20 minutes to make sure the kids don't bother me. Put them on child duty. There's a million ways that you can have them help you out. And if you do that, then maybe then you can find the time to get things done. You'll appreciate your partner so much more. It could actually help to bring the two of you closer together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You absolutely said that. I agree entirely.
Which brings us now to, we've got three more to go, and then we're going to do our spells. We'll do these three quickly, and then we'll come back because we really want to make sure we get our spells in tonight. That brings us to the stress of not having a mate. Now, I know that there are people out there that stress out. They feel like they want to have someone in their life, even if it's just a companion. They get very lonely, and so they stress themselves out. I don't have a mate. Nobody's asking me out on a date. What am I going to do? I don't know what to do. And then they can fall into a depression. Well, there's no reason that you can't look for somebody else. If you're feeling bad, well, I want to look for somebody, but I've gained 50 pounds and my hair is gray and I don't think I look as good. Nobody's going to want me anymore. Well, you know what? If that is your attitude, that nobody's going to like me because of how I look, I can pretty much guarantee you that no one is going to like you because of how you look. Because as a magical person, your words and your thoughts have power. So if you're looking in the mirror and saying, oh, I look terrible. Oh, I look fat. Oh, who's going to want me looking like this? Well, you are creating your own situation. You are manifesting what it is that you're trying to get away from. When you think of an athlete, an athlete that's getting ready to play the Super Bowl or go into a boxing match or whatever, they don't say, well, gee, I hope I exercised enough. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but I'm going to try. No, they say, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to kick some ass. There's no way I'm losing because I am all that. I am great. I'm powerful. I'm strong. Nobody can beat me. And they really believe it. And then that makes them get out there
And they do
and
the best.
win the Super Bowl or win the match, or at least really come close. At least they put all of their effort into it because they felt that power, that inherent infinite power within them that says nothing will defeat me regardless. And you
Right.
know what? Even though we're taught, oh, don't brag or don't do this, let me tell you something. People pay to see these people who stand around bragging all the time. Football players, boxers, they're making 10, 20, 30, $40 million contracts while standing up there saying, I am the best, I am the baddest, I am the greatest, I can kick anybody's butt, I can do anything, I can do all these great things. And we applaud them and we make pay enough money out so that they get a $40 million contract. Meanwhile, we're walking around like, oh, well, my butt's bigger than it used to be, and or it's flatter than it used to be, or my boobs aren't perky anymore. Who's going to want to look? Can't take my bra off in front of somebody. If your attitude is that, then that is what you project, and people will shy away from that. But if your attitude, you're standing up strong and tall, regardless, I don't care if you're fat, skinny, whatever, you're short, tall, bald, your hair's jacked up. If you exude confidence and beauty, that is what people see. They feel your energy before they even see your face. And what the energy that you put out is what's going to alter their perspective of you, either good or bad. And I'll tell you a really quick, funny story. One of my friends, Joanne, told me when she was younger, her and her girlfriend, they used to be the queens of the bar that they used to go to. They were the queen bees. They'd walk in and all the guys would be buying them drinks and following them around, begging them to dance. And they just knew that they were all that. And she said, one day, Rhonda, this woman walked in and she said, this woman literally had the face of a horse. She had these big teeth and this long face, and she was just ugly. But she walked in there like she was Beyonce. And every man stopped with the queen bees and went to that woman and were buying her drinks and begging her for attention, not because she was gorgeous, because she most certainly was not, but because her attitude said, I am gorgeous. And that's what they saw. They felt and saw her energy as opposed to the actual looks. It's true.
You're right. Absolutely.
It's true. I always laugh at that story because it's true. Sexy is an attitude.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And a lot of times, um, if you, when it comes to that whole thing about stressing of not having a mate, along with that attitude and everything is you may not even realize that, you're unconsciously letting off that beautiful sexual energy because you're smiling.
Right.
Smiling and everything makes you feel so wonderful. And the fact that you're not just laughing, ha 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 ha, loudly. No, they can hear that it's an enjoyment coming up from your core.
Mm.
They can hear that confident laugh that I am happy. No matter what's going on in my life, I am happy. That's a big deal to a lot of people. If you don't have that mate and you want that mate, change what is wrong. You know what's wrong. You will sit down honestly with yourself, dissect it apart, and say, these are what's wrong. This was what I can do, because there are things you can do to correct some things. Some things are out of your
Mm.
control, or maybe it will take a little bit longer, but work it out logically with yourself, intelligently, so you can feel and be in the right mindset to get that mate that you want, the kind
Right.
of that you deserve, But it's kind of like it works a kind of a double-edged way. If you want a type of mate, in a way you kind of make a list, I mean, which is we love to make that list of things, what I want
Absolutely.
from that person, what we want from ourselves, different things. You have to write down that list and create the different things. Now, you got to understand is you're wanting all these things from this mate, a mate wants certain things from you. If
Right.
you don't start to put out what you want and to be able to attract what it is you want, how is that going to work for you? You need to be able to decide these things are not what I want to be. This is what I want to be. This is the kind of mate that I want. So for me
Mm.
to attract that kind of mate, this is what I have to do to change. This is what I have to, first of all, I have to love myself, because good, bad, or indifferent, this body is yours. So that means you have to learn to love yourself just the way you are, whatever else is going on with that body, and say, okay, now I love this body, but I need to change certain things with it for me to love it even more and to accept it for what it is. So
Mm.
that that mate can come, and when that mate is there, you will feel comfortable, like Goddess Rhonda said before, being naked with that mate. Because if you want to get sexual, you got to get naked. So you have to be able to do and feel comfortable with being naked. As
That's
they say,
right.
naked, naked on the beach, whatever it is. You have to be able to feel comfortable to do that. And to do that, you want to be able to be comfortable and feel like I'm sexy all the time. So,
Right.
I may not be in the most perfect body, but I like me as that person. Not just like, I love me as that person, just the way I am. Yes, I would love to change some things, but we all do. We all think
Mhm.
that something is better than another, but we work with what we have and we love who we are.
Right.
And you love yourself, all of that exudes from you. And all of that would attract people to the point where I'm unconsciously, according to my friends, I'm sitting there with my jacked up knee the way I am trying to recoup, and I'm and I'm all, sitting there and laughing with my friend and everything. And I have guys making passes at me, and I'm turning around to see who are they making passes at, and my friend is going, Star, honey, they're looking at you, okay? And I'm like, oh, see, I didn't even know this because I'm unconsciously doing these things and not even thinking about it because I'm thinking of my
Right.
jacked knee. But, I'm just saying that even to the point where unconsciously you will be attracting people, whether you realize it or not. And that's
Hmm.
because sexiness and confidence and your happiness and all of that, joy inside of you brings an attractiveness all on its own. Joy, you're being happy with who you are, you're loving who you are. All of that comes out towards what people are going to see and accept.
Hmm.
That people honestly, do you honestly think if you see a person that's negative and grumpy, nasty and everything, do you want to have a conversation with that person? Do you want to be a mate with that person?
No.
Absolutely not. But if you see someone that they're happy, they're smiling, their eyes twinkle, you can see a genuine laughter going through their body, they're happy with who they are. You're like looking at them going, possibilities there. You have to see it that way. It works both ways. So if you
Hmm.
think for 1 second you can be grumpy and all the things that you are, someone's going to want you that way. No, they're not. So you have to learn to do some of those things and take away the stress of not having that mate, and you'd be surprised what happens next. All right? And that kind of
Absolutely.
goes into the body not being the way you want it. I kind of mentioned some of that with it. So that way you will not you have to realize that you have to change some things, then fine. Change what it is, whatever it is. It's really simple. If your body is not the way you want it, change it. Whether it's with the couch potato exercises or the bed exercises or whatever you have to physically get up and change. Because I watched a woman on Facebook, she was 80 years old, and that woman was in the gym working out. She looks absolutely fabulous. If you have no health issues, honestly, if I had no health issues, I'd be in that gym working out next to her because you do feel better. The endorphins, everything. Oh, and she does not look 80. She looks like she's in her 50s.
Wow.
You know, there are things that you can do, and you can do it. You got to stop acting like life is ended because you're over 50 or you're over 40. Life is not ended. You need to see it as no, life has actually begun. I'm in my second stage of life. In your
Right.
20s, I used to tell my sister when she hit her 20s or 25, I'm like, you old hag, no, you're a hagette, and I called her an old hag, and she's like, "Are you forgetting who's older?" I'm like, "No, I'm the haggette. Okay, I'm the one that's in my second lifetime." You have to see it, and we laugh back and forth about it. And I'm like, "Girl, I'm still rocking it at my age." So,
That's right.
so you have to. It's a matter of how you kind of see yourself and see things, and laugh about it. Get on, get either change it or stay with it. And if you're going to stay with it, be happy with it.
Hmm.
You know and make it work for you.
Absolutely. And I'm seeing that we've only got 45 minutes left, so I made a little mark here on where we left off. And we're just going to move right into our spell. So, Goddess Star, I'm going to let you do your spell first.
Okay. Okay, let me go to my spell. Let's see. My spell. Okay, one of the first things I wanted to do with it's a small spell. This is one had to do with a rose quartz. If you take a rose quartz and you take the rose quartz and you hold it up in the full moon and envision or imagine this the full moon or the into that the rose quartz. Envision all of that energies and the goddess moon and all of that going into the rose quartz. Of course, before you do any of that, I'm going to back up a bit. I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you to make sure you cleanse that rose quartz. You can run it under cold water, whether it's in a stream or under the faucet. That's all great. But of course, in that moonlight, once you've done all the cleansing, hold that rose quartz up and envision that whole thing going on with the moon and the goddess of the moon. And envision all the things that you would want to exude from you, all the things that you would like to see yourself, um, you would, all the things that you'd like to see your spirit, whatever it is that will come to you for love. And when you're doing this, as well as all the divine and the universe and everything coming into that stone, I want you to try to be specific about what kind of love you wish to be in that stone to carry around. Whatever is appropriate for you. Think of and I want you to take the rose quartz when it's all done with the moonlight and everything, and I want you to think of the color that you would like to have. Like for instance, self-love, you would use a pink pouch to put the rose quartz into when you're taking it around. For romantic love, if that's the kind of love you want in the stone, you would use a green or red pouch. And for spiritual love, that you want to have your soul and your body and your mind, for that, you will use a blue pouch. And you can whenever you want, you can do this on a monthly basis. You can every time the full moon is there, again hold it up and imagine the stone filling up with the moonlight and the moon goddess and the spirit of the rose quartz to bring you love. And think of that love walking around with you, whatever the love is for, whether it's for self-love, for spiritual love, or romantic love. And repeat it as often as you need it to be. And also, any spells you do, always say please and thank you to whomever or whatever spirits that has helped and guided you with his spell. Always emphasize that you understand that this is merely a request, a strong request, but you understand that whatever happens is for the highest good. It may not manifest exactly as you envision it, but as what it actually is needed. And the universe can actually see fit what's best for you. And a lot of times that's very hard for a lot of people to actually realize that sometimes their spell may not come out the way that they envision it to be, but the way the universe wants you to have it. Okay. And one of the things, some of the things I could quickly as a tip, I'm not sure if Goddess Rhonda is ready with her spell quickly, but
Oh
some
no,
of the
take
things
your
I
time.
want to,
We're good.
I'm sorry.
Take your time. We're good.
Okay, good. For one of the things I would like you to envision too, or to actually not just envision, but to work with some gods and goddesses that would help you with requesting, with your request for pertaining to empowering and enhancing you, whether it's your sexuality or your mind, your soul. They're all enhanced and drawn magically to the planet Venus, the planet of the vital magnetism. This planet rules overall forms of magnetism and attraction to manifest our desires and is associated with sexual power and charisma, the power of the entrance of anything that you want or all your desires. That is the true power of Venus as the enchantress, enticing us with smells and sights. So I'm going to give you a small list of deities with strong associations with the planet Venus. My suggestion is that you research them and see which one or ones you find an affinity with and begin cultivating a relationship with that deity. So there's a small list. Angus MacUg, Aphrodite, Astarte, Bast, Eros, Freya, and I'm going to stop for 1 second. The ones I'm saying, I'm going to make sure I put it in the chat log for you. So you will see it in the chat room. So you'll see it there. Freya and Frey, Guinevere, Hathor, Hera, Inanna, Lakshmi, Morrigan, and Venus. And a great book to help you with research is Christopher Penczak's book, The Witch's Heart. That book is all about the witch's heart for the love, empowering the witch's heart from inside and out, spiritually, mentally, physically. So that's a great book for some of the research for that. And another one is actually Judica Isles' book on the Encyclopedia of Spirits. It has over 1,000 gods and goddesses in there, and all how to work with those different deities. So it's awesome. And if you're going to be using any kind of candle for any kind of spell work with this with the Venusian color, any kind of candle that could be either green, red, or pink. Those are three good colors that would be you can use for that. All right, and I was going to suggest to you that there is a great book, Lady Ria's The Enchanted Candle. She has a few spells in there that would help you with um, empowering you as a person. One of the things that I liked about it was it actually has on page 93, there's a love uncrossing spell or ritual, and it's all about uncrossing you mentally, physically, and spiritually. And then there's another one right behind it on becoming a sizzling hot sex goddess or god, and that's on page 77. And I have a bigger spell, which is that I'll tell you about later after Goddess Rhonda, and that one is called the Bast Egyptian Cat Goddess spell. So I'm going to step it over to Goddess Rhonda for her to give you her spell, and I will put the goddess in the chat room for you guys. Okay.
Did you want to give all of your spells at once and then I can do mine, or do you want to switch off with?
You can do that one first, and then I'm going to come up with mine below. So, and I'll give them the information in the meantime.
Okay, so here's the short part of the spell that I'm going to show you. It's not the big one that I have all the stuff here to show you, but to begin, what we're going to do is you're going to learn how to worship yourself, basically, is what this is all about here, is worshiping yourself as the god or the goddess, because you do create your life. You do manifest the things in your life. In fact, if you think about it, probably most of the situations in your life you have created. So you can uncreate, you can create new experiences in your life, but you've got to get your self-esteem back up. We've gone over a bunch of reasons why we've lost our sexiness and why we don't seem to love ourselves as much. And it's important that we do love ourselves. A lot of times, you know, I honestly believe that when we're younger and we ignore the kind of the rules and we're walking around, strutting around about how gorgeous we are, because that's how we feel. But as we get older, we have kids and we teach them, don't be conceited. It's not good to brag about yourself. Don't be all full of yourself. So you start to actually take that to heart, I think, when you get older. Not when you're in your 20s. In your 20s, you know, it's like there's nothing anybody can tell you. You know everything when you're
Right.
20. You don't realize you don't know jack till you're 40, but that's another show. Anyway, as a metaphysician, it is very important to believe in your power, your beauty, your sex appeal, your abilities. And if you don't, your magic won't work, your self-esteem suffers, and everything can go wrong. So now also, in Goddess Star Night, we didn't get to cover everything, but we will. If we don't finish it in this show, then we will do it in the next one. You know, a lot of us are also carrying hurt and pain from other relationships where maybe we had a bad relationship and now we're afraid to trust again or trust our own choices, and we feel damaged from that relationship. So the first thing we have to do is repair that damage. So what I like to do is I do weaving and unweaving using a pendulum. You can use any pendulum. This just happens to be an etheric weaver, and it's got these meteorite vajras attached to them. Vajras cut through obstacles. So I put that on there. And basically all you have to do to unweave the damage that was done to you is you make a little I hope you can see this good in the camera this way. I don't know how well you can see this. You make a little chart with your name. You make a little stick figure. I'm not the best artist in the world. You can certainly do better than me. So you can make a little stick figure of yourself, and at the top where it says my name, I think it's coming out backwards, but you'll put your name at the top. And on the left, you have Venus, because that's our receptive and feminine side. And on the right, you have the Mars to get your sexiness, the divine masculine. The Venus Mars energy is very sexual. And then what you have, since it's backwards, from what it looks like from the screen, from what I'm seeing, it looks like the words are coming out backwards. So what I put around it is I put love, beauty, sexiness, confidence, self-esteem, good health, and then your name would go here. So basically what you do is first you unweave the damage that was done to you by spinning. Take your pendulum again. It could be any pendulum, metal, stone, whatever. I just happen to have this one. And you'll start to swing your pendulum counterclockwise, which is going to the left. And what you're doing is you are unweaving, your intention is you are unweaving the damage that was done to you in other relationships, any traumas or anything else. You are unweaving them from your life, and you're sending them into the light to be healed and resolved. That is your intention. Now, don't keep swinging it. Let it swing on its own. And if you're going to use magnetic vajras, don't wear metal jewelry because it'll stick to it. But have it, just let it, give it one good swing with your intentions. I'm unweaving the damage that was done to me, and I'm sending it into the light to be healed and resolved as I am healed from it. Just let it swing on its own. And in a few minutes, it'll stop. It all depends on how much damage there is. I've seen this thing spin for like 40 minutes over some people, whereas other people, it might just do 5 minutes or a few minutes. It all depends. And you can balance your elbows on the desk so that you don't hold it up like this because your arms will get tired. So just balance your elbows until it stops. So now it's stopped. So now I'm swinging it to the right, because now I'm swinging it clockwise, because now I want to weave in the words that I have written about myself. And you can write down whatever words you want to bring back into your life. I just made this as an example. So now my intention is I am weaving into myself love, beauty, sexiness, confidence, self-esteem, good health. And I keep reading those words over and over again as this is weaving it into me. And you really will feel it. You'll feel it inside of yourself. So if you do this for like a week, it only takes, again, I shouldn't say it only takes 5 minutes, because it's all going to depend on how much work the pendulum has to do on you.
Right,
But
right.
I found that it doesn't, for the most part, it shouldn't take more than a few minutes either way, maybe 5-10 minutes either way. And now you're weaving that in. So you're starting to repair yourself on every level by unweaving the damage and getting it out of you so that you don't carry that negative energy that's causing soul wounds. And then you're going to weave back in those things that you feel that you've lost, or what it is that you want to acquire in your life. So that's my first step. I'm going to turn it back over to Star for her next
Okay.
step.
Okay. One of the things I wanted to do, and I think I'm going to do the spell first. And if we have time, I would love to do that meditation, because the meditation that I have, that I wrote up for you guys, is based on similar to what Goddess Rhonda just did, which is all about uh, getting rid of any of those past things that are holding you back from being or reclaiming that sexual person that you are. But after you've done things like, say, what Goddess Rhonda just did, or what that meditation would do, one of the things that's a great spell that you have that you can use after all of that is called the Bass Egyptian cat spell. And that is to call upon joy, love, and beauty. And this works for all genders. And to bring it back into yourself, because that's all part of what's creating and making you that sexual being. So, and you can tweak it to fit whatever it is that's right for you. That's the good thing about spells. You can tweak them for what's good for you. And the purpose of this one is the goddess Bass brings joy, love, and happiness to the heart, and her realm is very intense, to the point that when you invoke her presence, She transforms a simple ritual into a time and place of unearthly enchantment and wonder. You can actually feel the music, the laughter, and the joys that she can bring to you, to that actual being that you are. And some of the things that you will need, you can again choose whatever color candle that's right for you, whether it's red, yellow, pink, white. Those are some of the suggestions I have. And that would be for, like, if you're going to do a candle spell for her in, say, one of the pull-out candles, or one of the candles that stays in the jar. You can use that as well. And you can carve anything that I'm going to give you a suggestion from Lady Ria's book of as to what for goddess bast that you can carve. And if you have one of the jar candles that stays in the jar, you will just use a black marker and use it on the outside of the glass jar and carve it there. So you can be creative when you're doing any kind of a spell. But when um, for this kind of spell, because it's an empowerment spell for you, my suggestion is, if you can, get a hold of one of the figure candles. They're like this. This is the female version. This is green. This one's red, and this is the male version. And it just means that if you're female or if you're male, whatever you are, you can use that candle, and you can still choose the color for that. The only thing about the figure candles are they don't come in certain colors. They come in black, white, green, red, and I believe pink. So you're limited with the colors, but you still have color choices that you can make, because some of the candle colors suggested are red, yellow, pink, and white. So you've got three choices you can use with the figure candles, and that's based on what you feel is right for you. So don't let me choose the candle color for you. You choose it for yourself as to what you need. If you want, you can create an incense and oil for Venus, Joy, or Bast, any of those things. I have a recipe here. I will put in the chat room for you guys, but it's really simple. You can put it. The Venus recipe is orris root, rose, sandalwood, musk, jasmine, sage, ylang ylang, cinnamon, patchouli, and lavender. And the Bast recipe I would recommend. And both of these recipes, the base that you would use if you're using an oil recipe, use almond base. That's really great for that. And for the Bast recipe, acacia, carnation, frankincense, jasmine, lotus, patchouli, rose, cinnamon, Egyptian musk, sandalwood, and these are just drops of it that you're putting in the base of almond base. Sandalwood, clove, catnip, main ingredient, catnip, gum arabic, lavender, and orris root. And some of the things that you would do in feeding the jar candle, if you were doing it with a jar candle, is you can put on the bottom of the jar some honey and iron filings. If you're using the figure candle, when you place it on a trivet or a plate or anything that you're resting the figure candle under, you can still put some honey and offer it around it, the bottom of her feet or your feet, whatever it is you're offering honey. Before you put the honey to offer, make sure that you taste the honey. Use your right or left index finger, your power finger, and you taste the honey first before you offer it to the goddess. Those are always done first. It's an old thing, but you always, whenever you're offering them any food of any kind, make sure you taste it first. Okay? And one of the things that you're going to do for this spell, the items that are needed, other than the candle that whatever candle you're going to use, is a letter of intention. And you know what a letter of intention is, right? It's like, what is it that you want from this spell? So you're going to write down on a piece of paper your letter of intention. You'll need a bowl, some catnip, mint, honey, some gold glitter, white wine, yellow or red flower petals, and a small bowl of milk or cream. This is it, and this you have to do. You have to change this bowl of cream or milk daily, as you would for a well-kept cat. Like if you don't have a cat, just as an offering to the goddess Bastet. So in doing that, you would be, if you use the milk or cream, you would make sure you change that daily. If you have a cat and the cat goes up when you have done the spell and actually uh, uses the milk or in any way absorbs some of the milk, that's even a better. To me, that's a double action for you that says this spell is going to work even better for you because it means that the goddess Bastet has accepted your gift even more. So that's awesome if you have a cat that does that for you. Um, One of the things that you would can do also is add maybe some upbeat music, whatever is good for you. So a lot of times people like the pagan drum and music, things like that. And then get into your spell. You can go, as your spell is complete or whatever it is, or when you say the incantation for her, you can get into it. Smile, jump around, dance, do whatever feels good because part of that is receiving and accepting that joy, that happiness, that love and beauty that's all coming into your body. So if you start dancing at the end of the spell, it's already began. Just always think of your spell as already beginning from the time you begin, from the time you thought of that spell. So it's, going from there. Now you're casting the spell. Now remember, the lovely cat goddess Bast is eager to make all who ask happy. So she's willing to do this. You don't even have to coerce her in any way. She's willing to come on in and do this. So the incense that you make should be lit during the preparation of this spell. So write your letter of intention and place it in the bowl, that empty bowl that you had there, and put the prepared candle on top of the bowl or in the bowl. Add some catnip around it, and mint all around the candle in the bowl. And you pour the honey generously onto the top and all around to make life nice and sweet, all around the bottom of the base of the candle. And sprinkle gold glitter all over the honey, like if you're showering it with golden happiness, raining down on your spell. And then you pour some wine, a bit of the white wine around the bottom of it. This is, of course, after you've done some glittering and oiling on the candle, um, whether you're using the figure candle or the other candle. Oh, and I forgot to show you this. The sigil that I'm using, and I recommend you buy this book, The Enchanted Candle by Lady Rhea. This is I don't know if you can see it. I'm hoping you can. Can you see it, Goddess Rhonda?
I don't see a sigil.
I'm trying to show it. If you can see it, if not, it's on page, what is it? 221 is the goddess Bast symbol, and it's really, I don't know if you can see it. I really was trying to get it to see it. Can you see that?
Oh, now you can. Now you can see it.
Okay, great.
Now I see it.
That's the signal. And if you can carve that either on any of the candles that you're using or use it on the outside of the glass part, awesome sigil. Okay? That's the one that you'll be using. That's the symbol and the sigil for the goddess Bast. And um, then you'll place the small bowl of milk next to that bowl that has the candle with all the honey and the wine and the glitter and everything. Okay? And then I want you to light your incense, light some more incense and play the music. And you're welcoming the goddess Bast. And then light the candle and you see an incantation. And I will put the incantation out for you, or maybe you will just come back and listen to it really nicely. And it says, and you would be saying this whether you're singing it or chanting it, however you want to say it. The sound of golden cymbals are tinkling in the air, saying, "No longer shall you be despair. For the great goddess Bast is here, goddess of beauty, astonishing fair. Before the dawn of civilization, you were there, waiting to give the world your gifts of joy, love, and happiness. Simmering light falls upon my body and soul, bestowing happiness where there was once sadness. A procession of dancers cast petals before thy feet and carry you perched majestically in honors high seated. I look upon your golden face and see the wisdom of joy in my heart taking its place." And you could say that as often or chant and however you want to say it. You actually feel it. I'm feeling it now, and I'm not even doing the spell, and I'm feeling it as I said that. So that's a great spell for you to do. And don't forget to say please and thank you And however the spell comes out for you, know that there will be great happiness and joy giving to you. So mote it be.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I
I hope they
felt that as
enjoy
you
it.
were saying it. That was just
Yes, I felt it too, and
beautiful.
I'm just like, oh, that made me feel so nice inside. Oh,
It
it
made
made
me
me
feel
feel
good
beautiful.
inside too.
Yeah, it made me feel beautiful, and I was just like, just reading it, and I don't even have the spell being doing. I'm just telling you about it. So if just reading it and saying it, imagine what you will actually do, how much you can get from it when you're actually doing this spell.
Right. All right. So my spell is a self-love intention bottle. Because if we do not love ourselves, we do not feel sexy, we do not feel good about ourselves. And the purpose of any intention bottle really is to give you a point of focus and a vessel to place your intent-filled energy in, charging it up and releasing it out. Now, all of the components of the bottle need to be charged with your intent and energy before placing them in the bottle. And all you have to do is just hold the object in your hand. I'm going to go over everything that you need, and you're going to hold it in your hands and say, I love myself, I honor myself, I cherish myself, to put those intentions into it and then place it in the bottle. So now you can use either a wine bottle, or you can use a Perrier bottle. I like Perrier bottles because they're smaller, they take up less room, and they're green, which represents Venus and fertility and beauty and sexiness, earthiness. So you take your bottle, and you're going to need a few drops of lotus oil. Now, you can use whatever oil you want to use that represents love or sexiness to you. I like lotus oil because lotuses grow in the swamp. They grow in this horrible, I would say horrible, but this smelly environment that most people don't want to go into. And in that are these gorgeous flowers. So you can look at it as coming out of the swamp feeling that you're having and blossoming into these beautiful flowers. Now, I'm not going to make the whole bottle. We're just doing like mock bottles, but I'm just going to show you the components and do a couple of things so that you'll understand exactly what I'm doing. So you would want to put just a couple of drops in the bottle when we get to that point of it. We will also need a carving tool. You can use an atme. I have really been into these bamboo skewers. I get 100 of them for 99 cents at Walmart, or you can also get them at Lowe's as well. They have them for 100 for $1.99. They're a dollar more, but it doesn't matter because you get 100 of them. They work forever. And bamboo represents fulfillment of wishes. So they make an excellent wand. And what you do is you just put your hands to turn it into a wand and say, I charge thee, become a wand for me, and convey my intention filled energy into this, whatever it is that you're doing, into this self-love bottle, or into the spell that I'm carving. But I'm going to say into this bottle and the candle that we will be using it for. So it is. So that it now knows what it has to do. You've given it a purpose, because you've got to give your tools a purpose or they
Yeah.
don't know what to do. So you've got that. You can use honey, or you can use sugar. I've got organic sugar here. You would just use a tablespoon of sugar. We'll also need a pink candle that you can pretty much, I guess, get just about anywhere. And you'll also need some rose quartzes and crystal quartzes. Now, you can get little stones at your any metaphysical store or rock store. But here's a trick if you're trying to save money, because I believe in being as thrifty as possible. I like to use beads instead of the stones. The size doesn't really matter so much. What matters is the energy that's coming from it that you're putting in. A little chip of a crystal can be just as powerful as a big crystal, depending on the energy and intentions you put on it. Well, you can get a 15 or 16-inch strand of beads, and you'll have 65 quartzes to work with, as opposed to spending $1.50 on one stone. Now you've got enough to last you for quite a few spells. So I prefer beads, and I have a website that I will put in the chat room. It's Fire Mountain Gems, and you can get like a 16-inch strand of garnet beans for $2. So you'll get like 65 stones to work with for $2. That's a good deal. And it's definitely a worthy investment to make. So I'll take 1 second and put that in the chat room so that it's there so that you can see that particular link. And there that is. Okay. So now going back to the spell. So you've got the quartz and you've got crystal quartz, and you've also got some rose quartz beads here. I'm going to put these to the side for a minute. And we'll also need some copper wire. I got this at Lowe's as well. And I think I only paid $3 for it. And it says here how many yards you get. You get 25 feet, which is a lot. This will last you a very long time, depending on what it is that you're making. You need a nice bowl to use for your things, a bottle cork, and you can get corks. My corks are falling everywhere out of here. But I got these for $2.99 at one of the craft stores, and it comes with a bunch of corks that you can use for your crafts. Any craft store would probably have them. Or save the wine corks from when you're drinking wine. You can also reuse those. You'll
Right.
need pliers. I've got these little jewelry pliers here, and a wire cutter. And then if you want, if you have the stones, the beads, you can also use some of those to decorate the outside of the bottle, but we'll get to that, and that is certainly optional. You're also going to need these chants. Now, I print these chants out in red, and the reason I put them in red is because red represents power, and we want to really symbolize the power and the passion of what we're trying to do. So you're going to need to print 2 pages, and don't worry, we will put this up, the pages of the chants. But basically, they are, I love myself, I honor myself, I cherish myself, I have passion for myself, I am loved by myself and others in a positive way, I have passion for my spirituality, I am kind to myself, I appreciate and enhance my gifts and blessings, I appreciate and enhance my sexuality and sensuality, I appreciate and enhance my good health, I appreciate and enhance my beauty inside and out. I enhance my social stature. I appreciate and enhance my charm and charisma. I appreciate and enhance my knowledge and wisdom. I always have more than enough to pay my bills and support myself. I give to myself. So many people help me. I enhance my spirituality. I enhance my magical gifts and abilities. I am proud to be me. So you're going to cut those out into little strips of paper like these. Once you print it out, you're going to have a whole page because you're going to need those chants to read, but you're also going to take the other page and cut the chants out so you can put them inside of your bottle. So before you begin any work, of course, we need you also to power up. You as witches might already have your own techniques to use to power up. You try not to use, so much of your own energy so that you're not drained. A quickie way to power yourself up is to imagine a power cord, like the power cords that you plug in. Imagine a power cord coming down from the universe, from the sky, and you can attribute it to the sun or just universal energy, however you want to do it. Have it come down and imagine that you are plugging it right into your lower back, right at the root chakra where your life force energy flows, and you'll feel yourself power up so that you can come up with the energy that you need to do your work. And then if you don't know how to empower objects, is again, you have to empower everything. So I'm not, in the interest of time, I can't, empower everything because this is just a mock bottle anyway, but just to give you the ideas, you can hold it in your hands. You might have your own empowerment techniques. By all means, use what you do. But if not, you can just hold it into your hands because the palms here, you'll feel them heat up or you'll feel them tingle. These are actual chakras in the palms of your hands. They're very, very powerful. So if you put them there, you can put your intentions into whatever it is you're using by just enclosing your hands around it, look at it, tell it what you want, and, empower it. I love myself. I cherish myself. I honor myself. And so then you'll empower all of your tools. So we're going to continue as if I've empowered everything. since now you understand how to do that, you really do need to empower everything, all of your components, because each layer of power and information and intention you put in there just makes it stronger and stronger and stronger. So you've got that. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your copper wire. This part I'm actually going to demonstrate because it's a little confusing if I don't tell you what to do. So out of the bottom of it, you make a little loop, like a little circle, because you want that to sit flat in the bottle. So you have a piece of wire with the circle, and you slip it into your bottle, and you push it all the way down to the bottom of the bottle. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can
Yeah,
see
you can.
that.
You can.
And what you're doing is copper is the second highest conductor of electricity. And so what we're going to do is we're going to combine our energy with this energy of the copper to really power up the inside, all the components of this bottle to help you. So you don't cut it yet. You want to have enough that you can, the wire is sitting at the bottom of the bottle, and then you fold it over the top of the bottle. And you want to make sure that it's touching the bottom, but then you also want to have some to wrap around the bottle. So just kind of figure out how much you'll need to do that to make yourself happy. I did like 5 times around to have that much wire available. Don't worry that it springs out as soon as you do it. We're going to talk about that later. So go ahead and take your wire cutters, and you can go ahead and cut that wire off so that you know what that's all about. And then press the bottom wire down. You might have to unwind the rest of it first since you wound it around the bottle, but that's okay, just to make it go all the way in. There you go. And then don't worry about wrapping it around the bottle just yet. Just kind of leave it hanging out there. That's perfectly fine. So then what you're going to do is you're going to add either a tablespoon of sugar or a tablespoon of honey. And as Goddess Star said, it is only polite to taste whatever it is that you're using. So first of all, you want to make sure that there's nothing poisonous or toxic or nasty going into something that you're trying to create for yourself, or if you're offering it to the gods and the goddess. In this case, you're offering it to yourself as a god or a goddess. So go right ahead and taste it, make sure that you like it. And again, you can use sugar or honey. Either one is perfectly fine. Whichever your choice is, you can use molasses, you can use agave syrup, as long as it's something sweet. But you can use whatever it is that you want to use. So you'll go ahead and you want to put that in there first so that it's at the bottom of the bottle. Then all you do is, I've only got 3 slips here, but I think there's, I don't know, maybe 15 of the chance. I didn't count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's about 20 chance.
Wow.
So you'll have 20 slips of paper. But as you put each slip in the paper, each slip of paper in the bottle, you're going to read it out loud. So I just put 3 slips. I honor myself, and I put it in.
That's awesome.
I love myself. I put it in. I cherish myself. I put it in. So now you're going to put that, all your stuff into, and all of your slips, you're going to read each one and put it in there. And then also, I don't remember if I said we also need the roses. I think I might have said that, but if I did not, you need some roses. Now you can use roses that you've got yourself and dried out, or if you don't have any roses in your garden that you can dry out, you don't want to spend 15 bucks to buy a dozen roses. Although if you have an Albertsons around you, they have a Friday thing where they sell a dozen roses for $7, which is a good deal. And then you can just dry them out yourself. But otherwise, craft stores and a lot of the health food stores have rose petals in these little bags. I got this one for $2.86. And as you can see, it's a fairly nice sized bag of rose petals for $2. So you can use that as well. So after you put your slips of paper in, I wanted to look, and no, I did not mention the roses, so I will make sure that I add that into the instructions so that you know that.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing you say it.
No, I didn't. And I'm looking at the list and I did not say it. So here, I'll just put it there now. This way I don't have to worry about it. Roses. Okay, so there we go. All right. So now going back to the spell, you want to take the roses, a nice good pinch. And again, of course, you're going to empower them. I love myself. I honor myself. I cherish myself. And you're going to put them into your bottle. I'm just going to put some in there. This is, like I said, this is just a mock bottle, but it just gives you a kind of an idea of what we're doing. So you've empowered your roses and you put them in the bottle. And then, of course, you also want to add a few drops of your lotus oil. And also you want to put in 3 crystal quartz, either 3 stones or 3 beads. Again, it's a cheaper, more efficient way to get the beads, but you can do whatever you choose to do. Just if you're going to buy actual rocks, make sure they actually fit in here, because sometimes you think it's going to fit and it doesn't. So you want
Yeah,
to make sure, if you have to bring the bottle with you or measure it to figure out what size you can get, so that you don't
it'll
want to get
fit.
home and then you can't fit them in here. So
Yeah.
you want to make sure that they fit. Or you can do what Goddess Rondi does and get beads, where you get lots and lots out of that. So you're going to put in 3 quarts.
Yeah.
After you've empowered them, of course, again, we have to empower everything. So you'll hold your quartz, empower it. I love myself. I honor myself. I cherish myself. Place each one in. And then you're also going to do the same thing with your rose quartz stones or beads. You'll empower them and you will put them in there. Okay, so next, you need your pink candle. So with your pink candle, you're going to inscribe into the candle, and we're going to go from the top down because we are bringing this into ourselves. So we are bringing it in. So we're inscribing from the top down with your tool that you choose to use. Again, we're going to put in here, I love myself, I honor myself, and I cherish myself. I'm just, writing it out. And then I'm going to write it on all 4 sides of the candle. Okay. So now what you do, and you can also, if you have any copper balls, I love copper balls because copper also adds to it. Again, these are optional, but you can throw some copper beads in there as well and to power it up. Because when you shake your bottle, the stones will be rattling around in there. And that's another thing. If you're going to use actual stones, make very light stones, because when you shake your bottle, you don't want that stone to break the bottle. I've had that happen. I used a heavy stone that was small. It fit in there, but it broke my bottle because it was too heavy. So use the smallest stones that you can. Again, the size of it doesn't matter. It's the intentions that you put in it. So after
Right.
you have finished carving what you want to put on your candle, and you can change the words. I'm just putting this here now, but if you want to put, I love myself, I think I'm the sexiest woman alive, everybody thinks I'm just gorgeous, you can put on here whatever makes you feel good. You use your own words. But I put, I love myself, I honor myself, I cherish myself. After you have done that, you can take your lotus oil and add some more lotus oil to the candle. Again, we're going down. I love myself. I honor myself. I cherish myself. And then you take the candle and you press it into the top of your bottle until it goes down about, you'll see it get in there really good. It's probably in there. I don't know if you can see how good it is, but it's in
Yeah.
there probably about 3/4 of an inch of the way, as long as it's stable. That's what you're looking for. It needs to be stable so that
Right.
it's
Right.
nice and stable. So then you take, now that you've got the candle in there, your copper wire will stay still for a little bit to let you get your other stuff done. So then you take your copper wire and you wind it around. And again, you can use as much as you want to use. I used a pretty long piece, but that's okay. And then to keep it from unspiraling itself, you kind of have to make a little knot. So you maneuver the tip into the top of the wire. Let me turn this around so you can see this better. Into the top.
Yeah, you can see
Can
it.
you see it? Okay. And whoops, it came out. Put it back. And what you're going to do is you're going to pull it tight. Pull it as tight as you can. If you have to, you can use your pliers to pull it even tighter for you. Now, when you pull it, there's still going to be some looseness in there. So you have to take your pliers, and what you do is you just give it a little twist. And what that does is it tightens the wire around the bottle so that now you see it's not trying to unravel itself.
Right.
So all I did was take my pliers at the top, squeeze the wires together, and give it a twist to tighten it against the bottle. And then what you can do with this part of the wire, you can either cut it off if you think it's too long, or if you have extra beads, you can put in extra beads at the bottom onto the wire. Oops, sorry, my eyes aren't what they used to be. Okay, there we go. And press it, bring it up to the top, and you can put a quartz bead, and I'm going to bend this up a little so that that doesn't fall off. You can put a rose quartz bead on it. It's optional if you want. If you get the beads, then you can do that. If you don't get the beads, then obviously you can't do it. So you can put a little rose quartz on there, in there. I'm not going to fight with the rose quartz because our time is running out. And then also a copper bead. Actually, you know, we're just going to keep going with the show to finish our spells because this is important, and hopefully you will bear with us for an extra maybe 20 minutes or so because I think it's important for us to get it all in tonight, and then we'll do more next week. And here's a copper ball. I'm just going to throw that in there just for extra added oomph and prettiness. And you can slide that up your wire and then bend the wire so that it doesn't, you don't want them to fall down. So bend the wire a little bit so that they're still there. And then take the rest of the wire and then just go ahead and wrap it around the bottle. Now, don't worry that that part of the wire is loose. That's okay. Because what you're doing is that when you shake your bottle, because the copper conducts the electricity, you're going to hold it by that wire. So now your energy is flowing through the copper wire
Mm-hmm.
and into the jar itself and powering up all those things in there with your intentions through the copper wire. So when you're shaking your bottle, when we get to that point, you're going to hold it by that copper wire, or if you put the extra stones on it, hold it by that so that the stones and now the wire are sending that energy into the bottle
Right.
to power it up. Okay, so now that you've got all this set up, you're going to go ahead and you're going to light this candle. And you're going to, you know, put it in a bowl or something where it's safe because the wax is going to drip down the candle, which is exactly what you want. And then once it's all dripped on there, because it's very pretty, then you glitter it up. You glitter it up. So you're going to use pink and green glitter, which I think I also forgot to put in here in my rush. I'm just going to put glitter so I remember to put them both in there. Just put glitter. Come on. Let's just, there we go. Okay, glitter. Okay, that's in there now, so I don't have to worry about that. So now this is what your bottle is going to look like before. And you should do this, preferably do it on the day of Venus, which is Friday, or in the hour of Venus, which you can look up planetary hours to figure out when that is, to get this going. And you're going to go ahead and light your candle. I think it takes about 4 hours to burn down to where we want it to be. And it'll get to the point where it's inside, a little bit inside of the bottle, and that's when you can put the flame out and then just press the nub of the wax in it. So now this also, with the piece that's left, is also going to go in there and empower the bottle. And then when you're all done, so here's before, this is what it looks like when you've got it all prepped out. And you can see the wire around it and the stones and everything. And remember, we're going to hold it like this when it's all done. After this is burned down and you've pushed the nub in, here is another mock bottle that I made today to give you an idea of what it looks like. This is using a wine bottle. And you see the candle wax has dripped all over it. Here's like the stone that I put on it, if you can see the stones. And then
Right.
I've also glittered it up with pink and green glitter. Hopefully you can see all that. Hold it up to my actual camera. There you
Mm,
go.
very nice. Yeah.
You can see all of the glitter and the stones that we
And
have
it's very
in it.
pretty.
Thank you. It is. It's pretty, and it looks pretty when you do it. And then also you can see the copper is at the bottom, and it's with the things. And then when you go to shake it, there's a dedication ceremony, but we'll get to that later. So this way, when you go to shake it, so now you've got your bottle ready, and it's nice and pretty the way you like it. And then you're going to go now to your entire list of those little strips that you cut out, and you're going to shake your bottle, preferably 3 times a day, while you're saying, I love myself, I honor myself, I cherish myself, I have passion for myself, I am loved by myself and others in a positive way, I have passion for my spirituality, I'm kind to myself, I appreciate my gifts and blessings, I appreciate and enhance my sexuality and sensuality, I appreciate and enhance my good looks, I appreciate and enhance my beauty inside and out, I enhance my social stature. I appreciate and enhance my charm and charisma. I appreciate and enhance my knowledge and wisdom. I always have more than enough to pay my bills and support myself. I give to myself. So many people help me. I enhance my spirituality. I enhance my magical gifts and abilities. I am proud to be me. And then you pull the cork out and let that energy that you have just built up flow all over you, and it feels really good, and you're going to hold it in your left receptive hand when you pull that cork out so that you're receiving all of that energy is flowing through you. And you just do this, you try to do it preferably 3 times a day to get yourself started, excuse me for my allergies, to get yourself started. And then you can maintain doing it every Friday. Let every Friday, the day of Venus, of Aphrodite, of Circe, all of the fertility gods and goddesses, go ahead and use that day to shake your bottle. But this is basically what a finished bottle will look like for you. And then
Right.
what you do then is you take your beautiful bowl, and then you add some more rose petals to it. And again, you'll empower them, but for the purposes of some time, I'm not going to do that. You fill your bowl with roses, and you want to put more of your empowered glitter on the bowls. So I've got pink. And remember, we're going to empower everything that we do in green. And then you have a nice bowl filled with roses to keep your bottle in on your altar.
Awesome. It looks very pretty.
And it really does work really well. And it again, it will help you to get your self-love, your self-esteem, your sexiness back. So that's how you do that. All right, Goddess Star, we're going to keep rolling. So go ahead and do, I
Okay.
think you had a meditation, or there was something else that you wanted to
Well,
do.
the meditation I would prefer to do maybe within the part 2 show because it came off of some of the things that we're going to discuss
Okay.
beforehand. And that's when we would then have them, after talking about those things, then have them go through that meditation to remove it physically from their bodies. So I think I better put that for the next time. But there is an uplifting bath tonic that I think would be really great with a mantra that people can say and do. It's really short, nice and simple. Um, but it's another bath, something that I think that people would love doing for themselves. And what it does for the body, literally it does uplift the body and make you happy, make you feel sensual and sexy and all of this. The ingredients are 1 sarsaparilla root, 2 parts of linden leaves, 1 part hyssop, and then add some rose water mix, that rose water mix that people buy. I think it's usually like a clear looking liquid. And then add an orange water mix. If you cannot find that, you can easily take rose petals and put them in a bottle of water. Same thing to do with the orange and water, and you can create that mix from that.
Mm-hmm.
Then 1 cup of baking soda, 1 cup of Himalayan salt, the pink sea salt, and 3 white carnation flowers. And you can take it and dry it, or you can take it and just put it in fresh as it is. Take the rose petals. And usually, when people make tonics, they tend to make it for drinking. This is a tonic that's for a bath, for you, for that outer body to be able to have to bring into the spirit and the soul. So,
Mhm.
this tonic mixture is a bath, and it is for elevating your spirit while at the same time scrubbing your chakras clean. And I want you to take this bath twice a week when the mood swings or depression have kind of taken over a bit, anything taking hold of your life in a negative way. So this is also great for anything that's traumatic. It could deal with grief. It could deal with any of those things. And you just want to energize yourself and your soul, your being, into a different space, a different feeling altogether. And one of the chants that you would say as a mantra, and you can say this daily: I fully acknowledge my goodness and worth, for I am a child of divine spirit. It's very simple, very straightforward. And again, you can say this at any time on a daily basis. I fully acknowledge my goodness and my worth, for I am a child of divine spirit. Simple and to the point.
Awesome. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to finish up. And again, we said that this would be a part two. I don't think we've even touched on half the things
No, we
that
have
we
not.
want to do. So we'll continue this next week anyway. But I do
Yeah.
want to at least give the dedication part of it, because it is a part of the bottle. And
Okay.
so there's a self-dedication ceremony that goes with this. So you're going to go into your bathroom and you're going to bring your bottle with you, because you're going to do this dedication ceremony first, and then you're going to begin your bottle shaking therapy for that. And by the way, when you pull the cork off and you smell that lotus oil, you just feel like a new person anyway. I love lotus oil, so I just had to say that. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying. You need to go into your bathroom, and I need you to pick a piece of jewelry that you can wear every day. It can be an earring, it can be a necklace, it can be a ring, it could be just something that you can put on your body every single day. And you're going to have that with you, and you're going to bring your bottle, and you're going to put the jewelry next to your bottle, and you're going to put both of your hands around your bottle, and you're going to say, I, Rhonda, or whoever you are, recognize and accept that I am a beautiful spiritual being, blessed and loved by the universal life forces, and am therefore worthy of the love that I now grant to myself. From this day forward, I vow to love, honor, and cherish myself above all others, knowing that by doing so, I will become an even greater tool of the universe and to those around me. If my spirituality suffers, then I will not be as effective as I can be. And if I lack love for myself, then I will not be able to attract the love that I seek. I will help myself as I help others. I will instill peace into my life in the same or greater manner that I seek to instill it in others, recognizing that I am as worthy as those I seek to help. I recognize the beauty that is within me, the intelligence, the kindness, and I am grateful for the wonderful characteristics that have been gifted to me, and honor and respect them. The universe smiles upon me, and I am filled with joy, with love, and respect for myself. For if the universe finds me such a worthy addition to this reality, then so must I, and I do. Now, you're going to be, I don't know if I had said this before, but you're in your bathroom and you are completely nude. You have to take all of your clothes off. If you can't stand to look at yourself nude, then you can't expect other people to want to do it either. You need to understand your beauty. So just take everything off and don't worry about it. So now you're going to pick up, after you have done your incantation with your bottle, then you're going to use what other jewelry you're going to use. I'm just going to go ahead and use this. Oh, here, I've got a little thing here I can use. I've got my little thing here with some stones in it, so I'll use that for my jewelry. So now you're going to hold that in your hands. And you want to hold it, again, right at where the palms are. This is chakras. These are very powerful areas of the hands. Goddesses of love, Venus, Freya, Aphrodite, and those that I have yet to have the honor to meet, please bless this necklace or ring or bracelet or whatever earring with both love, attraction, love, projection. Let it be a constant reminder to me to love, honor, and cherish myself always. Let it remind me to respect my life, my beauty, my spirituality, my positive passions, and all those things that I have been blessed and gifted with. Let it be a reminder that I have been chosen to walk in this world and what an honor that is, and to feel the love and joy that such an honor brings. So now you're going to now look into the mirror at your beautiful naked body, and you're going to say these words. And don't remember about trying to remember them. We are going to post these for you. I look into my eyes, the beautiful windows to my soul, and I see the warmth that shines through them. I see the wisdom that is reflected through them from lessons from the past. I see the gratitude that shines through them for being allowed to exist in the present. I see the hope and anticipation of a happy future. My eyes are beautiful. I look at my mouth and I am filled with joy as the lips curve upward into a smile. How beautiful my lips are when smiling, in repose, or speaking words of wisdom, or even frivolity. My mouth is beautiful. I look at my hair and see shining antennas to the universe. It is soft and shining and filled with my vitality. My hair is beautiful, and touch your hair as you do it. I look at my body and I see my beautiful history of courage and strength. That which used to be called scars are actually badges of survival. My physical form has matured and has granted me even more beauty, and I am even greater skilled in the art of love. My body is beautiful. I was made a beautiful woman or man, and that beauty is reflected in my being. From my soul outward, it shines like a beacon, and the entire world can see its shining light, even as I can see it. And for this I am grateful. I love myself, I honor myself, I cherish myself for now and for always. So it is.
So it is.
And once you do this, if you do this every night for yourself for like a week, you are going to see yourself in a completely different light. I've made these bottles for clients and they're like, oh my God, I don't hardly see my wrinkles anymore. I actually starting to like how I look. It's all about reframing and using your own power and intentions to change everything around, which you have the power and the ability and the right to do, being that you're a witch or a metaphysician or however it is that you term yourself. We don't wait for things. We take matters into our own hands and we fix them.
Right.
So hopefully Goddess Star and I have given you, we've gotten a good start on things that you can do to get your sexy back. I don't think we've touched on half of the things that we wanted to do, but it was more important for us to get our spells out, because a lot of times we promise spells and then we can't get it all done, and then we make you come back next week. You're still going to have to come back next week to hear the rest of it, but at least you've got your spells to get you started for the week. And
And
just
we will have some more for you next week as well.
Yeah, we will. We've got a lot more stuff because we didn't
Oh my
even
goodness.
realize how much stuff that this encompassed until we got started. It's like, oh my God, we're never going to fit this all in one show. But we did at least want to get in some, salient points, and hopefully, and give you some spells and give you some tips and tricks to at least get you started. And then we will polish it off next week with the rest of the information while it's still fresh in your mind, so that you can really do more for yourself and get your sexy back on. Because it's an honor to be a crone. I had a guy actually tell me, you're a crone. And I said, thank you. Because I find that to be the highest honor that you can give me, is to say that to me, that I've grown so much in wisdom and in my spirituality that you see me that way. But that does not mean that I have to be a frumpy crone. I can be a hot crone too, which is what my goal always is to be the sexy
Right.
goddess that I am all the time. And as is Goddess Star.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All
Thank you
right,
so
so we kept you a little later than we usually do, and I'm grateful that you stayed with us, and we would love for you to please come back next week so we can finish up and give you some more tips and tricks to get you off the couch, up and running, get your sexy on, get some lingerie, and really be that sexy woman. You're still that woman inside that you were when you were 20. Maybe the outside doesn't look as perky or as firm as it used to, but that sexual energy is still in there. So let's bring it out and be the sexy crones and sages that we truly are.
Yes. And just for part of the next week show, the meditation that I want to do for you guys, um, for all of you, is I want you to start getting prepared with um, a sheet of paper with a list, because this is literally a meditation ritual. It will literally be taking you through everyone that has been in your life, whether you're starting with the recent ones or not, and you will be doing the rest of it by yourself, but we'll be going through at least the first five, if that many or whatever it is. But I need you to get a list together and name, starting with the recent ones, going back with anyone. And let me go get my list. Hold on 1 second, because I want to be very accurate about this. This is for what I want you to know. Now, the very first thing I need you to do is make a list working backwards from the present. List all the people that you have had sex with that you can remember, including those that you consider good or bad relationships or casual sex, including anybody you might not have had physical sex with, but might have had an unhealthy obsession with, or a crush, etc. Don't forget, you are really trying to reclaim all of your sexual power. So be honest with yourself. You may have to do this meditation, a few times after I go through it with you next week, until you get through your entire list. So start with the most recent five. That's what we're going to work with first, your most recent five. But create the list. You have a week to do that, to prepare this list, so that you can go through this meditation prepared for what we want to do with it. And of course, we have some more spells and the real meat and potatoes of what we wanted to discuss with you
Yeah.
regarding your sexuality. Um, that comes first before the meditation, but I want you to be prepared for that. Okay? So thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. And we at the Priestess View, as always, we bless you with
Thank
awesome,
you.
abundant prosperity, good health, power, protection, and whatever it is that you need to manifest your positive desires. We
Yes.
bless you with that. And we
Yes.
thank you so much for being with us as always. We invite you back next week for part two, where we're going to have even greater stuff for you. And we will post the spell work that we did um, on our Priestess View Facebook page. Please visit that. You can just put in Facebook, the Priestess View show, and it will pop up. And so we'll put that in there for you as well, so that you also have it. But at least you have this video to refer back to.
Right. And thank you.
So thank you again so much. And as always, we release our circle, our lords and ladies of the elements and the directions. We thank you so much for your kind service, and release your energy back to source with our gratitude. And thank you so much, everybody. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again next week.
Yes. Thank you so much. Merry part, merry meet, and see you guys again next week. And blessed be to you all.
Blessed be everyone. Good night.
Good night.